Hey everyone, Danielle Fitzpatrick Clark here, bestselling author and authentic marketer and intuitive biz coach. And today we're going to be starting video one of a three-part video series where I'm going to be teaching you guys how to build an authentic, heart-centered business. Like, here are some starting steps for you. And the purpose of this three-part video series is to give you a sneak peek on what I help my clients do. And in the third video, you are going to find out about a special offer I have for all of you guys if you're interested in that. And I think you're going to gain a lot of value. This material is some of the core essence of what I teach, and my clients are having huge successes with this. My past clients have had huge success with this. So I think that you're going to find a lot of value. So today we're really going to talk about some of these beginning steps, the foundational pieces of your business, whether or not you have a business and you're thinking, well, I want to make a change. I want to make this a little more real, a little more true to me. Or if you're just starting your business, you're really going to find some value in today's video. So the three talking points are how to understand your core values and how to showcase that in your business. The second one is ways to hone in on those defining moments in your life and use them authentically and in a way that's connecting you with other like-minded individuals, i.e. your ideal clients, and the importance of your why in business versus the what you do. So, and I'll be totally authentic with you guys, totally transparent. I have notes. Normally I don't, but today I really want to make sure I'm giving you guys the best value. And I'm doing this on one take, hopefully, unless I have a kid jumping in here. It's spring break after all. Okay, so let's talk about core values. And the first thing, when you're creating core values in your business, it really is a key foundational piece. This is what keeps you solid in your business as you grow. You know, if you've been following my emails, you understand that I talk about a foundation and building a house on top of it. If you don't have a strong foundation in your business, it's basically like building a house of cards. Inevitably, it will all come tumbling down. So core values are really important. And the first thing I like to tell my clients is, like, set the intention that you are committed to this business. If you are setting core values, then you are committed to this business and seeing it through and following through on those core values. Now, you can add more core values as you go along. You know, maybe some other things are happening where you're just like, you know what, that's another core value. This is something I'm going to add. But really hone in on some of the core values that you have as an individual, as a business owner, and then what you want for your business. And you know, I think that there's a lot of things that you can do when you're trying to decide on the core values. One of them is that I use is deciding on your personal values. So, and this takes a little bit of soul searching. This takes a little bit of inner work, which I love bringing that piece into my business. I love being intuitive with my business and really honing in on more of the heart-centeredness. And I know that this, you know, for some people, they already know, they've done a lot of soul searching before they've even decided to a business, but in other cases, this can be surprisingly hard. So for those of you who are still doing the soul searching, who are still looking for clarity, here are some open-ended questions that you can ask yourself when you're deciding on your personal values. So what are some of your unique qualities? You know, write those down. Write down what you find unique about your own qualities. Write those down first. And then it's always helpful to reach out to others that you know, that you're close with or that know you well, and ask them what they think your unique qualities are. Sometimes we're so humble that we don't even recognize some of the things that we're really unique at and really special at. I mean, I've had a lot of people come to me just like, did you know that you were really good at this? I'm like, oh no, I didn't even realize that. And it's something that I'm just like, wow, okay, so there's a quality I didn't even know. So then I'll ask someone else. I'm like, do I do this for you too and with your business? And, you know, I'll go to clients and like, yeah, actually you do. So it's really interesting to see what you think of yourself, and then people that you're close with or clients that you have, how you are helping them, how your unique qualities are helping them. Another open-ended question is, how do you interact with those around you in a consistent basis? And, you know, because I think that a lot of times we find our values with how we interact with people. Like for me, I like to have a really good time. I like to laugh. Um, Fun is a value of mine, having a good time, seeing the positive in situations. That's a core value of mine. And you know, and it's not to say, oh, nothing dark ever comes in, nothing negative ever hits me. It doesn't. But when I decide that, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to let this stop me. So yes, I recognize the negativity, but I'm going to change my perspective to see the positive in this so I can move on. So that's a way that I interact with people. I ask them to see the positive in situations even when it doesn't seem like there is any. And I also interact with people in a fun way, in a very conversational way, in a very open way. So that's an open-ended question you can ask yourself. And think about what values you don't have and don't want. I know, going on the opposite end of the spectrum, just like, what is it that really turns you off? What is it that's just so unappealing that you just know that's not something that you would ever want for yourself or for your business? And, you know, it could be that money, you know, some people are just like, you know what, I know I need money, but I don't need to be greedy with it. You know, maybe the greed, or there's a whole bunch of different things that turn you off in business. Maybe you're in a spiritual business and you really want to go more with the flow in your business. You want to teach going with the flow rather than productivity and structure and linear. You know, sometimes that is a core value that you're like, I'm a really go with the flow person. That's a core value of mine. And I want that to be in my business. I want to teach that. And I'm not a productivity manager, or I'm not a productivity expert. So that really kind of goes away from what I'm trying to teach. So that's just a really good example that I actually learned from speakers on my last summit, because I had two different speakers with two different philosophies. And not that that was something that they rejected, it just wasn't present in their business. And I just thought that was a really good example. And, you know, third thing with finding your core values is, once you've got them, get the message right. Get it, hone in on that message. Once you've got those core values, like, okay, and I suggest finding 5, starting with 5 if you can, 5 core values for you as a business owner that you trickle into your business. And once you hone in on the messaging, you know, you can keep it as short or as lengthy as you want. I suggest keeping it within 6, 7 words, your core value, keeping it on the shorter end, because you want to circulate these core values in every area of your business. And by that, I mean on your website. You know, this is verbiage that you're using. On your about page, especially on your about page, which is funny because there's a stat out there by Leadpages, which is a platform for creating opt-ins and even temporary websites if you want. And their stat shows that I think it was something like 67% of people, website visitors, visit that page the most. Like, they see your front page, and you have 5 seconds, by the way. You have 5 to 6 seconds to engage someone with your home page. But the next page they go to is your about page. More often than not, that's what they're looking at, who you are. And putting those core values on that about page is really important to set the stage for that connection. If that's your ideal client, then you want to make sure they understand what your core values are, because chances are those are their core values too, or those are something that they really honor. So yes, circulating it throughout social media, on your website, any pamphlets you put out there, whenever you're talking to someone about your business, you know, make sure you throw in some of those core values. For me, it's like, I like to have fun in my business, and I like to be positive. So fun and positivity are some of my core values. Another thing is, you know, I like to show people how to have freedom with their life through their business. It's important to me to have that freedom. I don't really resonate with being structured all the time. I need some room for creativity. So, and another thing that is a value of mine is, you know, really coming from a place of love whenever I produce something. I really love what I do. I really love people. So I make sure that whenever I am putting something out there, it is infused with love and, you know, that generosity that I tend to have. So these are just, and these are things that I am putting out there on social media, I'm putting out there in interviews, and I'm redoing my website. So it is going to be on my website, and it's definitely on my About page. And I do have some tools that really help you hone in to some of the values that most people have and how to rate those. So there are a lot of tools to really hone in on those things if you're still struggling with those. And I'll leave my link, my calendar link, if you want to talk about that a little bit more. So yeah, so make sure once you've got those core values, you get the messaging right, and then you start circulating that around every area of your business, because that is a way to attract your ideal client and repel the ones that you wouldn't want to work with anyway. Okay, so now the next one is how to hone in on those defining moments in your life, and to use those authentically in your business. You know, authenticity is so huge right now, and it's not because people just is like the next big thing. This is the thing to do in business. I firmly believe that people are just not resonating with salesy and greasy and fake. I think that people are looking for something a little bit more. They're looking for something a little bit more nutritious, almost like soul food for the soul. That's what authenticity is. And I read some articles by Bernie Swain, he's a legendary Washington Speakers Bureau chairman. He's a speaker and he's an author, and he wrote a really vivid book called What Made Me Who I Am. And then he has all these articles about the book and how he has all these defining moments in his life. And in this book, he talks about tragedies, he talks about brave moves that he made, accidental meetings, betrayals, you know, who is close-knit community-wise, all these personal accounts based on experiences and what he learned from them. And he learned a lot. His book is pretty thick, and then he has so many, dozens and dozens of articles. So I kind of looked at that a little bit when I'm trying to teach, and just how important those defining moments in your life are when it comes to your business. So what I suggest is that you kind of feel into those and think about those and write them down. Write them down with your hand. I know sometimes I'm just like, I want to write down on the computer because I'm so much faster, but really when I want to connect with something more than my brain, I slow down by writing out in hand, and that's something that I do to connect more, is I write it out by hand so I can slow down. So that's what I'm going to suggest for you, because sometimes what's really more heart-centered isn't coming from the mind. So you're trying to take the mind out of it by writing down on paper. So, you know, and I'm asking for those truly life-altering experiences, ones that really changed and shaped your values or really changed your trajectory. You know, and I think that here's some more open-ended questions if you're struggling with it. Is like, when did I first experience XYZ emotion? And then you, of course, insert the emotion, like, when did I first experience betrayal? When did I first experience powerlessness? You know, when did I first experience true love? When did I first experience gentleness and when did I first experience safety? There's all these things that, you know, you can insert an emotion or a saying, and it pulls up a memory. It pulls up a memory, like something that really defined, you know, an aspect of your life. And the ones that really defined you are the ones that are going to come to you first. That's what I found. The ones that really defined you and really changed the trajectory of your life and how you saw the world or how you saw yourself, those are the ones that are going to come forward first. And another question is, you know, after you've got these memories, how did you handle this life event? You know, how did you handle it? How did you move through it? So those are some things to write down. And, you know, the last thing is what did I learn from this experience? What did I learn from the situation? And, you know, I think that and I'm going to use something very vulnerable to me right now as an example. I think that when I first experienced unconditional love is during the birth of my oldest daughter. And, you know, it was such an amazing experience having your first child going through labor, that when this little being that had been developing inside of me, that, you know, she was growing inside of me, I was her oven. When I first saw her, you know, the anticipation of seeing her face and actually touching her and having her there was this overwhelming sense of unconditional love that I have that I have for her. It's totally different than when you're carrying them. Although I had I had this feelings of love, but when I first met her, when I first saw her, I just knew I was gonna love her no matter what. There's nothing that she could say or do that would ever change how much I love her. So being a mother is a really defining experience in my life. It has taught me how to be patient in a way that I never knew that I could. It has taught me to be gentle. It has taught me responsibility is another, and I don't mean that in a, you know, sometimes people look at responsibility as a bad thing, but it's taught me responsibility in a way that I never would have known. So that is a really transparent moment of what I learned in a huge life experience for me. And I have filtered that over into many areas of my life. It's a big part of my why, you know, why I'm in business. It's one of my big whys. You know, I'm in business so that I can have the freedom to go pick up my daughters from school. And, you know, I know that there's so many experiences that I could name right now that have really shaped who I am, but for some reason, that's the one that's coming to me. Now, yeah, so, and, you know, there are experiences that aren't so great. There are experiences that are going to come to you where they were quite traumatic. And, you know, sometimes we forget about those, and I'm saying this about myself, sometimes I forget about the traumatic experiences and what I learned from them and how I moved through those. Now, sometimes I didn't move through those as effortlessly as I would have liked, but I learned a lot. Like, I feel like sometimes those traumatic experiences is enough to kind of like snap you awake, and how you move through them and then what you learn from them, even if it's what you learn, you figure out what you learn later on. These are huge moments in your life that you can showcase and use authentically. And the other thing I like to tell people is that when you share these experiences, like whether it's in an email, it's a blog, you know, writing stories is really powerful. Sharing stories is really powerful. It's a way that people connect with you. And connection is huge when you're running a heart-centered, authentic business. You're letting people in, you're letting people know real parts of you. And the real is what's relatable. You know, it's really relatable. You know, perfectionism is not relatable because no one's perfect. Everyone's learning. But when you share those experiences and you share how you move through them and what you learned, that's relatable. Even if somebody hasn't gone through something like that, you're giving them a sense of hope that, yeah, some things can happen in your life that kind of turn it upside down, and here's the blessing in it. And that's where you get connection, and that's where you draw on those ideal clients. Now, somebody who may not resonate with how you move through something or what you experience, then they're going to you know, not be your ideal client, or maybe not be interested in your business. And it's not a risk that you're taking. It's really just a way of filtering. It's really just a way of connecting with those people who you are going to work with really well, who understand you and you understand them. So, real is relatable. If you can take anything from that, I would like you to take that. And okay, so next and last for this video is the why versus the what and how in your business. I love Simon Sinek. I know a lot of my colleagues love him too, and they use kind of the same idea and the same principles that he teaches when building a heart-centered business. And there's a reason why, because a lot of times when we're trying to figure out, oh gosh, how am I going to find my ideal clients, or how am I going to get my messaging right? There's some simple ways that you can do this. And I'm going to draw on my little board real quick so I can help display this. So, and the other thing is that I will be talking about value and your value and your worth in business and video too tomorrow. So this is just a little bit of a teaser for what's going to happen tomorrow. So first thing we're going to talk about is the what in your business. And Simon does this really well, and I'm just going to showcase it for you. So let's make your business like a big circle. This outer circle is the what. Let's see. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah, it kind of shows it backwards. So the what. So, and this is the what you do, what it is that you do in business. For me, I teach authenticity. That's the what. And yes, this is really important to define the what you do in business, but how many other authenticity coaches are there out there? There are hundreds, if not thousands by now. Authenticity is a really big word. So I'm not really establishing myself as an expert or as separating myself when I just say, I teach authenticity. This is what I do for businesses. There's tons of people that do that. So the next thing is the how. This is how I do this. This is how I teach authenticity. So the how. And this is the circle within the other circle. And this is how I do it. So when I'm teaching authenticity, I teach how you can find your core values. That's a part of what I teach. That is a big part of what I teach on how. And yes, I have some experiences that I pull from that may resonate with some people, may not resonate. So yes, that does set me apart as an expert for a particular niche of people. Now this is what's really important, and this is where authenticity comes into play, and this is what I teach my clients. So important. I love how Simon put this, and it resonated with me so much, so that I bought some of his speaker series and books. The why, and you'll see that that's in the middle as the core. And the why in business is so important. It's why you do what you do. And you pull this from experiences, you pull this from values. This all circulates back to what I first taught you. And the why you do your business is part of the passion, is part of what gets you excited, is part of what draws people in, because it's what you believe. And, for me, another vulnerable, authentic moment, the why I'm in business when it comes to authenticity is because I grew up in a family and in a town where we were to wear a mask. We were to act a certain way. Children were meant to be seen and not heard. That's what I heard growing up. That's what I was taught. And it didn't resonate. It didn't resonate, and it didn't feel safe. I didn't feel like I could be myself. I felt like I was always walking on eggshells. I thought that I had to be perfect to be loved. These are reasons why I teach authenticity and why I hone in on my clients and show them that their value, who they really are, their true self, is important. Because when we really come down to my why, is that I don't want another woman or child to feel like they cannot be their true self. Because being your true self is what I believe the world really needs. Your uniqueness, your experiences, your values, they're different than everyone else's. There's no one else in this world or in past lifetimes that has ever been you, that has ever gone through the same things that you have, that looks like you, that feels like you. This is who you are, and that is what I believe the world needs. So when you hear me say that, that's a lot more powerful than what I do, which is teaching authenticity, or how I do it, which is I show you how to tune into your core values, how to hone in on those, and how to get the messaging right and put it out there. My why, you know, that's what connects me with people. So when you get to that place, when you understand why it is you're doing what it is, when you do that inner work, that's where you're powerful. That's where connections are made. That's when people resonate with you. So if you guys can, if you feel so moved to, I would really suggest that you take a moment, take a day, take a week, and tune in, go inwards, go into the heart, and decide and figure out why it is you want to do your passion-based business. Some of you guys already know too. I'm not saying you don't. And if you do know, awesome. Define it. Get the messaging out there. Really write that out. And again, do it with your hands, because that's when you get the mind out of it and you bring the heart into it. So that is video 1. I hope you guys gained a lot of value from it. Again, you will have my calendar link at the bottom of this video so that you can connect with me if you want to talk a little bit more. More than happy to open up some 20-minute sessions for the next few days. And video 2 will be coming out tomorrow, and we're going to be talking about values. And how important it is to step into your values when you're running a business and when you're putting yourself out there. So that's what we're going to be doing. And again, thank you so much. And luckily no kids came running in here, but it would have been fine because I just would have made them like my co-hosts at this point. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone. Bye.